that Indian politics does not have a single dull moment was made clear with the NCP crisis on Sunday, and somehow, you know what, it's become a metaphor for all crises now. In Karnataka, the BJP has been unable to announce the leader of opposition or LOP, and the Ajit Pawar effect was used here also. Now, for weeks, intense infighting has been witnessed in BJP unit of Karnataka. Let me show you that. If I can ask Satish, can I turn around Satish please, so that the audiences can see it. Fissures in Karnataka BJP, that's what we are discussing today. Yes, I know it's a cadre-based party, but these things happen all the time. There is open fighting. Let me tell you about a lot of leaders fighting each other. Ishwarappa, Nirani, Yatnal, fight after fight. The infighting is continuing. Now, Delhi BJP is not really liking this impasse because, after all, an LOP has to be appointed, and the session, I think this is the first time the BJP shall go to a session without an LOP. So, they have appointed Mansukh Mandaviya and Vinod Tawde to oversee the selection of the leader of opposition in Karnataka Assembly. BJP strongman BS Yediyurappa has been roped in to finally end this infighting, but will he succeed? Vijay Grover, let me start with you. Vijay Grover, the thing is that, what really surprises a lot of people is, this is a cadre-based party, the Bharatiya Janata Party. Every norm is followed, every rule is followed. Unlike other parties, there is no kind of insolence which is tolerated. But it's obvious that it's mired in groupism. Nirani is fighting Yatnal. There is in Jolle's meeting, there was an open kind of a free-for-all which was going on. R. Ashoka seems to be also, getting into this. There is Vijendra who's also speaking about it. Do you think that the groupism has now reached to such an extent that 1 month on, Vijay, and they've not been able to appoint a leader of opposition?
Sudha, I'm sure this is an issue which everybody is taking note of, for the simple reason that it's still in the opposition. I mean, if to appoint a leader of opposition, it takes 1 month. Imagine if the party had come to power, and what would have been the situation then. Now, the role and the responsibility of the leader of opposition is very, very important, for the simple reason that it is called the post of a shadow CM, a shadow chief minister who keeps watch on the chief minister and his cabinet, and is given the same rank as the chief minister. And in hierarchy, it's the speaker, the chief minister, the leader of opposition, and then the cabinet thing. Though, Mr. Bommai said that, tomorrow we will appoint, the fact is that today was governor's address. And, it was the first time in the history that the governor did not have a leader of opposition whom he could address from the dais inside the legislative assembly. So clearly, this is something which shows that, certain urgent attention needs to be given. And this is something where, the party will have to come out clear and ensure that it has a leader of opposition in place tomorrow, because there is a protest and there's nobody who's clear as to who will lead the protest inside the assembly, and that is something that needs to be figured out. Though the BJP is trying to sort the issue out, and we have these meetings which have been going on relentlessly in Delhi, Bangalore with the observers and the thing. The procedure, however, says that the leaders, the MLAs, have to get together and elect a leader. Election is what is important. We saw this in the case of Congress, where there was interference from Delhi with Randeep Singh Surjewala sitting as an observer and taking the vote count, which was actually not correct in the first CLP that was taken place. We are now again seeing 2 observers being appointed, who will take the opinion of the MLAs and then give it to Yediyurappa, and Yediyurappa will discuss with Mr. JP Nadda, and then they will decide as to who the leader of opposition is. The norm otherwise very clearly states the legislators elect their leader, and it should not be with consultation from outside. But however, rules are different as far as this game is concerned. But we hope that by end of the day today, as has been promised, we should have a leader of opposition before the assembly convenes at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Right. Professor Puranik, let me come to you. Professor Puranik, it's obvious, no? I mean, in the sense that what Vijay was just explaining, I mean, a simple process, there is we South Indians, you can touch your ear like this or you can touch your ear like that. So, this is what is, I think, going on, Professor. So, I am asking you this, that it's clearly because there is also a theory that as we are going towards 2024, a lot of them do not want Bommai to be leader of opposition, because right now there is blame game happening. Oh, you were the one responsible for, Shettar and Savadi. You made this. Lingaites, why did you sideline Yediyurappa, etc., etc. So, do you think that there is a very strong group which does not want Bommai as LOP?
Well, it looks like that. Otherwise, if Bommai were the clear choice, I think BJP would have announced it long back. The very fact that there are many people who are not happy with the style, the way Bommai led the entire party, before the election, and after the election, how things are now being talked, openly against each other. There may be more than 3 to 5 groups, according to me. And the one group which perhaps, I thought has something very relevant to the present day crisis is Mr. Renukacharya. Perhaps he represents Mr. Yediyurappa. I think, because he is a loyalist and he has come out with several observations saying that, these are the people who took wrong decisions, especially 70 new candidates, and also, in terms of giving preference to this or that and neglecting Jagdish Shettar, Lakshman Saudi. I think all these things put together, it is not one single reason that has made BJP to lose power. Because apart from the aggressive campaign, which perhaps Congress thought that BJP will not be in a position to counter, so they were lucky. Second thing is about guarantees. In both accounts, the BJP has failed to match with their kind of propaganda or whatever the kind of promises they made to the people. Now, the most demoralized party, it looks more than Kumaraswamy's 19 legislators, JDS. I think BJP looks like a highly demoralized party because each one is on his own and there is no central control which was there earlier in deciding the matter.
What has happened? Is it because there is lot of fatigue? I am going to also, first let me ask you, Professor, then I will ask Vijay also. What is this? They lost elections, it happens, but this time in Karnataka there seems to be, I am sorry to use this word, frustration. Hurry, you've lost it, you can win the next time, fighting openly, like you said, Renukacharya, of course, very senior leader, very respected, of course. I mean, Ishwarappa speaking is fine, I somehow accepted that he will. But the point is, why are they are not looking at what is the next game? If this is, don't you think that it is very unusual, sir? Professor?
Not only unusual, but I think, it will be much more damaging for 2024 elections. They may, see, for the first time, as Mr. Govar said, first time in the history of Karnataka legislature, there is no leader of the opposition.
Yes.
Can you imagine a national party not taking care of such an important issue? This should have been solved 8 days back. Perhaps even the central government, the BJP High Command or the party leaders, they are also not very serious about this particular thing because it has been reduced to 66. But you need some kind of support. You have 25 Lok Sabha seats to be won or to be retained. With this kind of thing and also blaming each other and also working against each other and all that, I think, Congress will definitely have an edge over them. And they may not be able to cross more than 15 to 20 Lok Sabha seats also if this is the kind of whatever BJP that people have seen. So but, I think it's a very big crisis, and that crisis, if Mr. Yediyurappa were to be there, perhaps in the house itself he would have been an automatic choice.
Absolutely.
But somehow for the sake of his son, he has opted out.
So Vijay, I'm asking you. I'm asking you, Vijay, what Professor was saying. Do you think that Yediyurappa, Bommai has Yediyurappa's back and vice versa? Because it seems like Yediyurappa, by tomorrow, he says everything, and apparently is working very, very sincerely to see that this impasse is actually broken. So, do you think Yediyurappa will, finally have his final word and say Bommai and no one else? Do you think he'll be able to do that?
Well, see, Sudha, there are a lot of elements which come to fore in this. The very important thing is the role of the leader of opposition. And that has to be somebody who is a good speaker, is, quick reflexes in terms to be able to respond to the government, and also somebody who does time and research on where to pin down the government, because that is the very crucial element, or the characteristic that is expected out of a leader of opposition. And we have seen eminent leaders of opposition, and I will name Siddaramaiah, the kind of the homework that he would do to be able to put the government in a fix. So this is where the party has to go beyond caste considerations. What is happening now, the different factions that are putting pressure are keeping 2024 in mind, and saying that if we have a leader of opposition from our caste, we will have a better impact. And that is where you find so many more people coming out and staking a claim, be it Ashwath Narayan or be it
Right.
the others were coming openly. The fact is that a leader of opposition has to be not only a smart politician, has to be a researcher, or as they say, a political animal who keeps the government pinned down. And
Yeah.
that is something where, we feel that Bommai, with his, administrative experience and the kind of role that he's played in politics, makes a better choice.
Yeah,
But
so-
somewhere down the line, there are people like C.T. Ravi or others who are not willing to, accept Bommai, because they feel that it was his misjudgment of the governance that led to the kind of crisis that the party is in today.
Absolutely. C.T. Ravi has come out openly and he has spoken about, again, mistakes which were committed, very senior leader. But I'm asking you, Vijay, before I go to the professor. So, the kind of profile, if one would say, one has to draw of a leader of opposition, Bommai is a perfect fit. Also, he's someone who's, remember all the water disputes he would sit and actually solve. His brilliance used to come through that. But I'm asking, so which means Yatnal apparently is also in the race. Also R. Ashoka is in the race. Why would they be in the race when they know that, this is Bommai's, bastion maybe, Bommai's forte? So don't you think that it is openly in the BJP there is politics? There are fissures and it's now out in the open, Vijay Grover.
Well, see, very clearly, Sudha, you said it, what people are not willing to acknowledge is that there are fissures, and the fissures refuse to get close despite the intervention that we have seen at all quarters, because everybody is under pressure. At the moment, the biggest pressure on the party is to ensure that, 2024, they're able to get a good number from Karnataka. And that's the reason why you see there is a reluctance. Nobody wants to become the state president because, they feel that he or she could become the sacrificial lamb if you take up the role of the BJP state president from Nalin Katil. Because, the cadre is disorganized, and, you've lost power, you don't have effective control on the government, and not able to do the kind of, political, I would say, machoism that is needed. So we don't have a leader who's willing to take that role. That's the reason you find that everybody is trying to get into the role of the leader of opposition. And that is something which is a big challenge, because somewhere down the line, the party will have to take a call collectively or from Delhi that you first be clear on who the leader, state president is, who will lead the party in the state for 2024 parliamentary elections, and then give the responsibility of keeping the government pinned down to the leader of opposition. That's where the dilemma is coming in the party, because they're not able to, fill both the vacancies. And while for one there are no candidates, for the other we have so many who are willing to, despite having no governance experience, I would say, they have political experience, but governance experience which is needed for the leader of opposition seems to be lacking.
Professor, let me ask you this, because they have lost elections and they know that they are not in power, it is just a kind of a hunger for power that LOP, if I can get, it seems like they look like schoolboys, because you saw the open, in Jole's meeting, they were like schoolboys shouting slogans and all this. You are a professor, you must have seen with students, some of them, although they are lovely, but it does happen. I behaved like that when I was a student. So I'm asking you that is it just hunger for power which is making them do it? They don't understand the responsibility. I mean, Yatnal, I mean, he's a motor mouth, that's what some people say, but do you think he can take the responsibility of being an LOP, Professor?
No. Compared to Mr. Bommai, Yatnal is no match to him, because I agree with Mr. Grover. See, there may be people who don't like Bommai, but his experience and expertise, and also his reflexes are quite good. He may not be very vocally aggressive like Yatnal or anybody else, but to articulate, as Mr. Grover said, in the assembly, you must come out with figures, facts, and also the kind of instantaneous kind of articulation that is required to attack the chief minister and the Congress government. In Congress, there are so many leaders who are capable of that, but in BJP, because of the whatever the kind of high command, remote control, and all that, many leaders could not emerge as independent leaders within the party. So there is a kind of dearth of such competent leaders. Now, I think it is zeroed to Mr. Bommai only, looks like that, because there is nobody. But as Mr. Goval said, the president's post, nobody is willing, because it needs, you have to tour the entire state and work for 2024 elections. But this is more important, because Congress is now in a better position with the freebies, and this Karnataka model also being, considered as a very good technique, to win votes in Madhya Pradesh.
So I think they should put politics, in the back burner and kind of concentrate on this, because, getting an LOP and someone like Basavaraj Bommai, according to both of you, is more important than anything else.